Okay, so welcome to our mastermind. This is really going to be a true mastermind. Instead of me presenting all the time or Janie coming in and presenting or Paul, like whoever, we really want it to be a true mastermind. And I think there is definitely some topics that all of us are wanting to cover and just see what everybody else does, or things that we've heard from other people, what's working. And so some of the topics that we'll cover are things like marketing. So no matter what platform you're using, doesn't matter to me, but we'll talk about some different things like, what kind of emails do we send? How do we follow up? What's good practices for connecting with agents? How do you get leads at EXP? Right? Like truly, how can we all explain it really well? I don't know if I know anyone that can explain leads really well at EXP. Maybe you guys can. I literally haven't even had anybody that could explain like just even the different portions really, really well. So I really want to get that nailed down. I want to also get nailed down other like divisions in EXP. So Janie is huge in the luxury one. So we have a big advantage there where she can tell us, hey, this is why it's designed. This is what it does. This is how it helps you even gain listings. And like, here's all the tools that we have. So those kinds of things. I also want to just mastermind on challenges, right? Like, okay, I've worked through my whole warm market. However I did it, now how do I reach more people? Is it social for me? Is it calls for me? Is it, and kind of talk through that, what those pillars are. And then also the different competitors that we have, and how do you look at those, talk about those. Some of you have competitors that are really big in your markets. Some have competitors that are just coming to the market. So I think it'll just be a really great mastermind to talk through all of those types of things. So that's what I'm excited about for this mastermind. And if you guys want to mention, Janie, if you want to mention anything too about things to do on this mastermind, go ahead.
It's such a big topic, right?
Yeah.
It's such a big topic. Um, I personally think one of the most important things that we can be doing is, um, hey Jim, good to see you. Um, just building our email list of agents that we've come in contact with, and just showing up for them, giving them hope, giving them inspiration. Doesn't have to be about EXP. Can be
Mhm.
just hope and inspiration, and but also in a way that's different, because right now I think there's nothing, none of us are short on information,
Mm.
right? And so um how do we cut through all of that information so that people are like, oh, this person is really saying something I want to hear, or that's interesting to me, or that touches me. Because the one thing I think we as agents, and me certainly, fall into the trap of providing a lot of inspiration and training, but then we just become Wikipedia. Like we just be like, there's no attachment any of us have to Wikipedia. It's like the
Yeah.
Google, right? So how do we become like a human person that they're like, that person gets me, that person understands me. I want to do more with that person. So I think that that's important. And whether that's through email or social media or events, whatever, I think that's one of the most important things. And people, Stu McLaren said this the other day. He's like, with the advent of AI, where like everything is available immediately and people are using AI to write social media, write blogs and everything, more and more people are going to be really craving, and I think they do already, like a human understanding of that connection with somebody, that parasocial connection, which means we do have to show up. We do have to show up either on video or in voice or in person, but it can't just be text and it can't be words, because now they don't even know if that's an AI thing or not. They want real connections with real people.
Yeah. Were you and I talking about that?
Maybe we talk
I,
about a lot.
I, I'm like, I
I
feel
think
like
I
I just
might have
had
said,
this
I think
conversation.
I might have said that that's what Stu said. And it makes a lot of sense that there's a lot of good to come out of AI and all this stuff. But if you use it and you take yourself out of the thing, then that
Mhm.
information's just a commodity
Yeah.
and they can get that information anywhere.
Yeah. Like we have to humanize our conversations, humanize our content, humanize, just how we do things, because that's the only difference. Like
Right.
this, it's me. It's not AI. But otherwise, you have no idea,
Right.
really, I mean, unless it's written like super good and you're like, that doesn't sound like her, or super bad and you're like, that doesn't sound like her, but other than that, it's really hard to know.
And that's
So,
why video and speaking FaceTime is more and more and more important.
mhm. And especially also in the world of many chat, where everybody's like, comment, attraction. They don't say that. What, comment shop, and I'll send you my whole Amazon bedroom, and then,
Right.
whatever. Um, like everybody's now just assuming a lot of times that it's not us behind the things that we're doing. So I was watching this training today on marketing, and I kind of wanted to cover this a little bit today. So this goes along with the topic. Welcome everybody that's popping in. Real quick, I'll go over what I went over just a few minutes ago. We are recording this, so if by chance you had someone that was coming or whatever, this is for currently agents that have at least 10 in their organization, or my front line. And the reason that we did it that way is just because I knew the people that would show up are the people that are builders, right? And then if we have, we don't have, we didn't have a big group, which we already have a really nice little group here, then we would open it up, beyond that to our organization. But basically, this is going to be a true mastermind. So it's not going to be like training or presenting every week or anything like that. We want to dive deep into topics like, heart-centered marketing, right? How to communicate with people that have totally fallen off, or you had good communication a few months ago and now you don't know what to do. Things like, do we build our email list? Do we do more social? What would we say? How do we do this? How do we really connect with people and agents, and so they know that we're an option, or that they choose us to come? Like, we really want them to make the best decision for them, but we want them to know, that we're an option, right? So we're going to mastermind on those things. And so going back to now, one of the things that I wanted to cover today was this idea of heart-centered marketing, because so many people, including myself, are putting out I'm trying to just put out content to put out content, right? I'm like checking a box, which is not great. So I'm not saying anyone should do that. I had to get better into just doing it. So do I think I'm doing it right? No. So this next iteration, or if you're kind of starting to communicate with more people, to think about this heart-centered marketing. And so heart-centered marketing is where you're putting yourself in the position, or maybe you were in a position a year ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, whatever. Whoever that person was, you've come out of it somehow, right? Nobody else has read the same books as you, listened to the same podcasts, been on the same training, done the things you've done, and you're already good enough. So you don't have to become more. And it's taking that past you and communicating to that person, because you can really connect with them, right? On some level that you may not even know what they sort of grabbed onto. But when you think of your past you think about, how could I show up for them? Like when I don't feel like getting on, writing an email, when I don't feel like making the call, when I don't feel like following up because I don't know what to say, you just think of how you could impact that person, even if they don't choose you, even if they never move. You have no idea how that communication because it was consistent and because it was heartfelt and because you're talking about the real problems that they're experiencing because you experienced it, that person will naturally be attracted to who you are. And you don't have to even be perfectly out of it. You know, I don't feel put together every single day or like I could talk on how to help people attract agents. Like, I don't feel like that every day at all. And so you don't have to feel like you're completely 100%, you know, this is why you can talk about it. You can talk about it because you went through it. And the things that you did helped you get through it. So that's kind of the first part of this heart-centered marketing, really feeling, really connecting with that person. Secondly is make it fun. So if, you know, like if you hear, let's say Glenn Sanford give a small speech and you hear Brent Gove give the same speech, those speeches are going to be night and day, right? And it's okay if you're like, yeah, well, I'd rather hear Glenn than I'd rather hear Brent. It's okay. It's not that. It's that, you know, you listen to Brent, whether you like what he has to say or not. But the point is, you listen to him because he makes it exciting and fun, or you're kind of like, gosh, you know, I was sort of having this ho-hum day and I heard Brent say something and I kind of laugh for a second, or, you know, it's that. Or think about when somebody asks you a question and you don't even know it, but you kind of like light up and you talk about it. That's what we have to do with our marketing. Make it so that all of a sudden somebody like perks up again, because it's you're talking to you're talking to those pain points. And now that you are commenting or putting out marketing on one thing that you do well, it doesn't have to be 50 things, and you're making it fun, or you light up, or you're excited to talk about that, people feel that. And again, we're trying to induce feelings from our marketing, not just, you know, kind of put it out there. The other thing is make it easy. And we've talked about this a lot, like in real estate, but make it easy for people to do what you want them to do. So if you want them to connect with you, how do they do that? Is it direct message on Instagram? Is it direct message on Facebook? Is it, here's my cell phone? Is it, I have a Calendly link? Is it, you have to watch 15 videos and then you can get to me? You know, whatever it is, but make it easy for people to do it. Because if they don't know, A, what you're asking, and I'm holding up a number one, what you're asking, two, how to do it, they can't do it, right? They can't get to that next step. So make it easy for them to do what you want them to do. Another thing, you're putting out marketing that appeals to them. Again, it doesn't always just appeal to you, it appeals to them, okay? And they don't have to love you, they don't have to idolize you. But at 2 a.m., when they're finally going through their email because they can't sleep, they might see that email or they might see that piece of content and they're like, you know what? He's totally talking to me. That is just like I said to Janie, did we just have that conversation? I felt like I just had that conversation. That's exactly what you want. Like, is somebody listening to me? Because I swear I talked about that yesterday. That's what you want when you're thinking about either how you do your marketing or what you're saying or what to say. And in marketing is even, I think, how you connect with an agent after you've talked to them, right? You're trying to appeal to them and what they're going through. And then lastly, with marketing, you can help people, whether they join you or not, you can help them make a decision. And that's what we're looking to do. We're looking to get people to make decisions, right? We want them to take action. And the only way we can get them to do that is by continually sort of showing up, continually putting out something, continually showing up as our authentic self. You're going to burn out in content or marketing or what you're doing if you're trying to be someone else or you're trying to speak like someone else. Pretty soon you're just like, what am I even doing? Like, I don't even know what to talk about. And I've struggled with it a bunch of times as well. So let's kind of talk through some of that. If you guys have any comments on that, or you want to kind of mastermind through that, let's do that for a little bit here. And anyone can speak. You can just unmute or talk or whatever.
So, I was on some training, I think it was for reels, for making or shorts. And there was a lady approximately my age, mid 50s. And most of the other people were 30s, probably. And she's like, kind of psyched herself out. She's like, oh, I'm just not, nobody's going to want to listen to me. I'm older, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all the people who are like you want to listen to you. They don't want to listen to, a 20 something doing TikTok dances. They want to listen to you. And to take it a step further, but by some miracle, I've had a couple different MailChimp sign up forms all over the internet that I forgot about for years and years and years, like on different like training sites that I do. And I found I had a couple hundred emails of people who signed up for my newsletters. And MailChimp actually gives you like the demographics of your subscribers. 70% were women, and it was 45 to 65 was like the thing. And I was like, that's exactly my group of people. I wish she had known there's a whole bunch of people like her, like you said, who are maybe 2 years behind in that same journey. Like, oh, what do I do? I'm an empty nester now, whatever it is. So there's people out there that are thirsty for the knowledge we have for what we've specifically gone through, if we just share it, who resonate with us, and not the other people doing something else. So your audience is there. It's just getting in front of them or like mistakenly getting in front of them like I did. I've got to scrape those emails now to see how many are still good, but I was happy to find them. So
Nice surprise.
nice surprise, like 800.
Yeah. Very cool. How about the rest of you?
Hey everyone, just wanted to say thank you for the invitation. And I really liked what you said about the heart-centered marketing, that people really do want to see what's real. And those are the ones that get the most views anyways. It's when you're raw, and because then you help them feel better about themselves. But at the same
Right.
time, like providing a solution, that you're working on.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it.
The other thing I think about being raw is also, if you're scrolling your feed, if you're scrolling your Facebook feed, Instagram feed, whatever feed, if a sponsored post or a paid post or an ad comes through and it just looks like another part of your feed, like it's just a picture of somebody, you're much more likely to stop and look at it than if it's too stylized, because when it's too stylized, it looks like an ad. And we are subconsciously programmed to scroll past and ignore ads. And if you look, probably some of the people that you look up to who are advertising geniuses, they run ads or have reels or promotional things that just look much more like Cece's saying, like the raw, unedited version, because that actually stops the thing, because it feels like a friend to them on their feed that maybe they forgot, rather than marketing. Because most of us don't pay attention to marketing. That's like, remember those old-fashioned banner ads on websites? Like you never looked at those banner ads
Yeah.
because we knew they were ads.
Yeah. That is such a good point. That's right. If you're always in the same spot, same location, same whatever, people do kind of, and it's not that you can't still be here, but it's like a little bit different of an angle, or whatever. Like, because people can get to know you too by something in your background. Like, I always know Cece's gonna have that blue picture behind her. Like, I love that blue picture, so maybe that's why I like remember it. But you know, like for instance, you could have a million angles in your office, but if you shot a reel today or something, you know, you could move a little bit and people still know it's you, but it's like a different spot or angle or whatever. And not as choreographed if you do a lot of, you know, more choreographed things. So that is so true, right? You're like, oh, or you're like, I know you don't cook like that because your kitchen's way too clean. Or whatever it is. Your sourdough is too perfect, lady. There's no way.
Someone should make a post about sourdough and real estate.
Yes.
Sourdough is the new
Gosh.
big trending thing.
Is it not? Oh my gosh, I know. Crazy. I think people like that take me with you, right? So like sourdough. Like I watch a lot of those videos and I want to make sourdough really bad. I'm just afraid I'm gonna like kill it. So I don't know. I don't. But like I just it's like you like that sort of like, okay, I'm not there, but I want you to take me with you. So show me what bowl you use, show me that like funny looking whisk thing, you know, what's a starter, you know, or like people, right, when they do the videos of like makeup, right? That's like a big thing now. We've all seen it a bazillion times, but you know, they'll be talking about something else and they're putting their makeup on. But it's kind of that like take me with you. Like, you know, you would go to someone's house and see that. You'd have a conversation like that. You wouldn't necessarily always have a conversation like how I'm sitting right now, you know, like, hello, yes, and that. No, but when you're like doing things and you're like kind of sharing, you know, that's how we have conversations. So that's really captivating. How about you, Chris? You've been doing quite a bit of content and different kinds. Like you do some really funny. If you guys do not see Chris's like this cowboy guy that he does, it's hilarious. But yeah, how like talk a little bit about your strategy for your marketing.
Yeah, I'm thinking as we're all talking about like I'm in the studio, pro looking studio setting 80% of the time, and yeah, it's getting content out there. I feel good about talking about that content, but yeah, it's got me thinking about switching it up a little here and there. I think there's still probably a place for studio and subtext and the edited style of video, but maybe 50% instead of 80. I don't know. Just thinking as you guys are talking, like, yeah, what gets you to actually stop and look? Because if they just keep seeing me in front of the same background, talking about a real estate topic, does it really hit anymore? Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. I stumbled into creating the cold call cowboy comedy character because I just needed like a creative release. I was like, I literally don't care if people like it, don't like it, unfollow, whatever. Like it's funny to me. And but yeah, if that's saying anything, 10 times more engagement with that stuff than anything I've ever put out about real estate. So
Mhm.
just being silly and having fun seems to be, at least for like the people that already know you in the sphere,
Yeah.
like you're forever in their hearts because you're just like, I don't care. Like I'm being an idiot.
Yeah. But that's just it. People like they want to get to know us, you know? Like, do you guys all follow like Chelsea Pites? She's got like that short blonde hair. She's like a social media coach or something.
Hmm.
Anyway, she talks about this all the time. Like she doesn't like AI generated content. She likes face to camera. But you literally, I feel like I know her son, Mason, who wears these like cute little glasses and he just kind of, she's really like funny. He seems like dry humor, so that's kind of funny. They have these little they had these two little rescue dogs that were like 4-pound chihuahuas, and one other one a different kind now. But anyway, and her husband is on there every once in a while. She'll like ask him questions, but I feel like I know them. I know they have an Airbnb, and I guess maybe I'm on social more than I think I probably am. I lied. I'm on it enough. But I feel like I don't always see her stuff, but I know enough about her that I feel like a friend. It's that parasocial relationship. There's a girl in Sioux Falls here. I have never met her in person. And Sioux Falls is like 215,000 people, so it's not that big. She runs a boutique and she has like 4 locations in Sioux Falls, and she's always putting out content. She's a good one to watch. Her name is Lori Carlson, Laurie. Carlson is Karlson. Here's why I like to watch her. She shows many different things, just like we all do. So she has literally the #1 online boutique in the United States is out of T, South Dakota. T, South Dakota has 10,000 people, but it's like, we don't have suburbs, but you could call it a suburb of Sioux Falls. Anyway, she does a really good job talking about different things and does it different ways. So like you, Chris, she'll do a funny TikTok every once in a while. And like, they're just kind of hilarious, and she'll have a friend of hers in it too. Then she'll do her normal, like she has to do a try-ons all the time, right? Blah, 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 got all that. Then she'll do working out. She'll do, oh, yep, I'll get it for you in a second, Cece. She does, she just got a rescue dog that she drove all the way to like Chicago-ish area to rescue this beagle. And so anyway, my point about that is I like to follow people that show multiple things because she has multiple businesses. She has Airbnbs, she has a lake house that they also Airbnb. She's got this boutique. She's a mom. She loves rescue dogs. She likes Botox, like whatever. She just shows all the things, but not in a way of like, here's my link, here's my link, here's my link. It's like a real person. And so I feel like I know her. Like every once in a while I'll message her. Like we were talking about sourdough the other day. Yes, that's her. Thank you, Janie. So I was like, I can't make sourdough. She's like, me either. I'm like, here's a recipe from Jenny Jones. Remember her, the old talk show host? I'm like, she makes bread. It's really good. So we were like going back and forth, never met her. But she does a really good job showing different pieces of herself. And I think that's one thing like Chris, you're doing now, right? I have this cowboy, I have this team leader, here's my real estate, I have my studio YouTube stuff. Because sometimes I think we get confused on like, who should I be on social or what should I show? I sell houses. I want to do attraction. I, am a mom, whatever. And you don't have to show everything or I'm a dad, but, you might want to incorporate some of those things, and then people like start to get to know you better. Like Janie, Chris, you both are big travelers. So that we know about you from like, I thought Janie was gone. I thought she was traveling. So like, how can you incorporate some of those things? Like Cece was fostering. Paul coaches his kids. Jim, I don't see a lot of you on social. But it helps us like, what did you say?
I have to get with it. So get on the ball.
The one thing, Stacey, about doing that is then your audience or your online friends, whatever you want to call them, they get connected to you. So as what you do shifts and change, they move with you. Because if I just did it for real estate here, once I stopped selling real estate, like what would I do with the people? Or if I just did it on training and I stopped training, but if you do it holistically, like Lori or whomever, then people build that parasocial relationship with you and then they follow you. So for us who are into sales and team leadership and training and rev share and traveling and all the other things, then people connect with us because they're interested in like that whole person thing. And then they follow you to, and you grow with them and they grow with you ongoing,
Yeah.
rather than getting bored with you because I watched a lot of van lifers during COVID, and then a lot of them, um, stopped traveling around in a van all the time when COVID stopped and they went on to other things. But the ones who just talked about van life had a really hard time because then their followers were like, well, wait a minute, I just joined you to learn about vans. I don't want to see you build a house. But the ones who are more holistic, that the van life was part of it, the people stuck with them, whether they now move to an island or whatever it is that they're doing, because they were more
Yeah.
interested in them than this thing. And that's what I was saying. There's so much information out there and so much training. People can get that anywhere. We want to transcend the information to build the relationship, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's true. Like when you travel somewhere, I think, gosh, I need to travel more. Like when Cece shows the things she does, they do with your son. I'm like, gosh, I should make more moments. Like I should do more moments, Chris, I'm like, gosh, he's like remodeling this house, building this. I'm not even sure, but it's a big project. Like, man, I want to see how it turns out. Um, Paul, when you're coaching your kids, I think, geez, I should coach my kids. Nah, but it makes me think about it, right? Like it makes you think, these are interesting people. And Jim, I just know you're interesting. So, but you're like, gosh, I should, or not even from a like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing enough, but from that take me with you. Like I just keep that in my head, like take me with you.
For
So
inspiration.
are you guys leaning towards like there is a place for calls to action, or like there is like, hey, because you've built a holistic parasocial relationship, now the times that you do ask for some call to action, or what I do for business and you should click here or sign up for X, Y, or Z, like just becomes natural because they like you, they know you, and they've built a trusting parasocial relationship. Like, because I know there's people, like, I feel like the big influencers that I follow that are either attracting or selling courses, it's like every piece of content has a call to action. Is that too much when you're not, I don't, like, is it like if you're still trying to be in the organic phase, hey, every third or every fourth thing has got a call to action. Otherwise, you're just getting to know me. I'm taking you with me. I don't know if there's a science or art behind that, but
I don't know if there is like this magic number. I don't know it, but I'll give you two examples I heard lately. Number one, kind of like we talked a little bit earlier, like people have to know, what do you want them to do? Like Lori, okay, for instance, she'll share links, quite a few, but it doesn't feel like I know she's using what she's saying. I know she's doing what she's saying she's doing. Instead of, how some people are like, oh, here, buy this new thing I just got on Amazon, and they didn't buy it and they didn't use it. So it is that trust factor. But then secondly, there's a lady that I'm working with right now, and she said, sometimes we forget that when we're asking for something, it needs to be like a launch. And this was really interesting to me and made me really think about agent attraction, because think about it. When like, okay, there's only 20 spots and we're starting this February 1 thing. You're like, wait, what? And you kind of like pay attention a little bit, or you're like, how do I get more information? Or, you know, it's like a launch. And so she had just launched a program and she was talking about marketing. And she said, do you know how much I talked about it when I was launching? She said, they ran a ton of Facebook ads. So she did that and she was transparent about it. But she said, the launch, people were begging me, like, when are you going to launch something? Like, so she had things they could do and buy, but they kind of like overlooked it because they really liked the content that she was giving and what she was saying and what she was doing. So she's like, we had to do this big launch. And it was like this 3-day master class, basically, was this launch that they were doing. So think about that for agent attraction. If, and I don't know, we can mastermind on this too with the time that we have left, but you know, when you think about this launch or this, like Russell Brunson, he'll call it the attractive character. What's the thing, Janie, where they're like over the top in the demonstration? Oh, you're muted.
Dramatic demonstration.
Yes. Okay. It's like this dramatic demonstration to a thing, right? And so it might be something for us to explore. Like, how could we use that? What would it be? What would the thing be? What would it look like? What could a deadline be to work with us, get in our world, or, hey, I don't know. But I think it's interesting to explore, because if you look at every big creator of marketing or just on social media, there's some type of launch that they're having, whether it's this discount code is only good for the next 48 hours or whatever, right? What could we do to kind of show some, like, this is a big deal. This is an urgency. This is a thing you're going to want. And then you have to go hard and talk about it. Now, do you have to build up some goodwill before that? Definitely. Just like I think Cece put in the chat, I had my chat closed, but I think she put, yeah, the jab, 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 right hook. That's just like that, right? You're giving, 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 boom, you're asking. Or you're telling them, like, let's go, it's time. So I don't know, any ideas around that?
Chris, on your social media, is it specifically agent focused, or is it also consumer focused?
It's a bit of a mix. Yeah, I've not created any dedicated agent attraction profiles or anything like that. It's just been, we have our team account, and then my personal account. My personal was like sprinkled with business stuff, and then a lot of personal and travel. And I've kind of just transitioned my personal into being the agent attraction zone, where I'm still talking about homes I'm selling here and there, still talking some real estate, but I'm talking to agents when I'm posting a video, like, agents, do you have these 5 things in your business? Like these, a little more like, so I think they're grabbing some attention because people are like, hey, I'm seeing your videos. I've got no calls to action. I've got no links. I guess I'm in like building goodwill phase of just like getting everyone used to me talking about, talking like a coach, talking like a trainer, like, and hopefully my buy sell and friends and database for the real estate side are just like, oh, okay, cool. Like, he's doing that too now, like, haven't really overthought that, but like, audience is probably a little like, oh, okay, he's got a few things going on here, and I'm just rolling with it, I guess. I'm hoping that it doesn't alienate anybody. It doesn't seem to.
You know what? It's funny. I've heard multiple times buyers or sellers will hire an agent that they know is a coach or a trainer to other agents, because that
Yeah.
instantly gives them more authority. So I think that's totally fine there.
Mhm.
And then I don't know what you have for your links in your bios, if anything. But before you got on, or maybe when you got on, I was saying, hey, I just discovered I had like several hundred people signed up to my email list. And
Yeah.
it's because my one and only link in my bio is to sign up for my email list. So a lot of times when people find you engaging and interesting, they'll go look at your bio,
Yep.
then they'll look at the one link you have. And if that's just a simple email sign up, like a MailChimp or whatever you're going to use, KV Core, whatever, go high
Yep.
level, just an email sign up. So even if you don't have calls to action,
Mhm.
a certain amount of people who do that, who want to stay in touch with you and follow you. And then are you doing this mostly on Instagram?
Yes, which I think a lot of that ends up on Facebook too.
Yeah, if you have it linked, it does end up. So I was gonna
Yeah.
say, the other thing I've been doing that's been pretty successful, again, just kind of stumbling around finding things.
Mhm.
I created a broadcast channel, which is kind of a free one way, it feels like, and I just called it, because I've been looking a lot. I think it's like the under valued feature of Instagram, these broadcast channels,
Right.
because it really pushes that content up to the people who subscribe to you. But a lot of
Okay.
people made the mistake of making their broadcast channel, in my opinion, too broad. Like
Okay.
just another, like, behind the scenes access to me. Well, who cares a lot of time, right? But if you made it a broadcast channel, maybe you want more of the, cold calling cowboy or something like that. People follow that broadcast channel, and then that pushes them, and you can do a lot with that. So that's when you could make much more agent focused, and people, they have to follow you, I think, to sign up for it.
Yeah.
So you might want to think about that, but be kind of specific on what you make that broadcast channel about. And that's
Yeah.
where you can send like voice messages on it,
Huh.
pictures, and it just, like, they feel like they have behind the scenes access to you.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it.
So
Didn't even know about that.
I got 92 people signed up, and I think I've posted like 5 things. Um,
Nice.
so, and I don't have a big list. So
Like you're hosting.
I
So
made
you're like,
mine about, because I am recreating my no call expired system. So I
yep.
just called it the behind the scenes, follow along with me, like Stacey said,
Yep.
behind the scenes following with me as I recreate my no call luxury expired system.
Yep.
And because my target's agents. So, like I said, people signed up, and then anytime I post there, it shows up on people's, like, they get a notification.
Oh,
A lot more than just a post on your feed or your
then
story or
just
something.
scrolling. Interesting. So these are people that were probably already following you or whatever. They saw something about hey, I'm launching this broadcast channel.
Yeah.
They click to be in it.
Yes, and then from the broadcast channel, you can take like a snippet of it and share it to your story. And it actually says, hey, join my broadcast channel if you want to hear more about this. So it's getting in front of my other followers. And then I have it linked to Facebook too, so it pushes to Facebook. So with, like I said, maybe 5 posts, I have 92 people specifically in there. And I am going to launch a product on that specific thing. So I'm like, jabbing,
Sure. Sure.
launch. So
That's smart. And then you could basically create, like, each broadcast channel could be
yeah,
its own bucket for different topics.
yes. That's like I said, I've been watching a lot of people who created broadcast channels, and I've been paying attention to the ones that seem to have done well
Yeah.
and not done so well. And the ones that are just too broad, like just more about them, like
Sure.
the people who just want to talk about themselves, they
Right.
don't seem to get so much. But the ones that have very kind of specific broadcast channels
Yes.
that are like maybe a little educational based or something, but
Yep.
behind the scenes educational based, that seems
Yeah.
to do better.
Nice. And then you lead them down that funnel is just like they just keep seeing more on, but it's not necessarily live, or you're throwing in some live.
I'm throwing in some stuff, and then my thing is, when I'm ready to launch my Expire course, I'll be like, hey, you want to join this webinar or this 3-day challenge or whatever I make it, and push them into that. But now they're all warmed up.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. So maybe that's something you could consider. Because people are
Yeah,
naturally curious when you put stuff. So that's what I'm
right.
saying. I would look at what your link is in your bio and make sure that's for some kind of email sign up or some other way that you can stay in contact with them.
Yes.
And then I don't know that you have to be every single time don't forget to sign up for my email list.
Right.
The curious and interested ones will.
Love it. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Question for you guys before we end up on time, and then Cece has a question too. I'll let you kind of talk through it, Cece. Would you guys prefer to do this weekly, twice a month? I think more than once a month would be better, but what do you guys, any preferences or non-preferences?
I like twice a month. That's just me.
Yeah, same.
Okay,
I was gonna say twice a month or every other week.
Good cadence.
Twice a month.
okay. Perfect. Awesome. Perfect.
Yeah,
Okay, so we'll do
let's
that.
I'll take a screenshot of I guess all you guys here and like make sure we all follow each other and click each other's links. That would be helpful.
Oh, kind of do like a pro. That's actually, that's such a good one. Okay. For our next call, that's what we should do. Go on everybody's social, take a look at it, look at it like you were a person that you didn't know them. You know, is it clear what they do? Is it clear who they are? You know, are their links working? Like we could do that on Facebook and Instagram. So I'll start an email with us on here so that you guys all have, and then if you guys can reply and put your social thing in there, then we can do that social audit.
Paul was like, nope. Oh, he's back.
He had a buyer. His buyer might have like came knocking on his door. Okay, perfect. Cece, go ahead and ask your question. Oh, perfect. Hers was at Cece.
I was just curious if you guys had thoughts on hiring someone to record you and make your edits to post for you, kind of doing that blog style as an agent or just in your life and stuff like that. Because I remember watching Gary V. I mean, that is what he does for many, many years. And he had said in one of his posts that would, if he would have done it sooner, or like he just feels like that was like a really big investment, or like a valuable investment. So I was just curious if because I feel like that's one thing I run into. I am doing so many things. Even though I'm like doing something really amazing, I just threw this amazing like Ninjago birthday party for my son, and I'd love to share all the tips and tricks that I did. But nobody has time to post it because I'm running around doing the thing. But if somebody was like recording it and editing it for me and posting, like I have so much more content to share.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm basically looking at my real estate sales right now as just like funding my content building strategy for this year. So like, and I wasn't making enough headway without paying. So like I'm paying a guy to just follow me around with a camera at certain times. We have a standing studio session every week. Now I'm going to invite him to like, if I'm speaking at a mastermind, just like, you know, just follow me around and be a videographer and then dice it up into shorts and dice it up into like, so yeah, I'm paying him and
How long have you been doing that? And are you
three
seeing
or four months.
return?
Yeah, I mean, I have 2 YouTube channels going. I mean, I just like after 3 months, it just started ticking up or spiking a little bit on my real estate for buyers and sellers channel because I created an agent attraction channel and a buyers and sellers channel. And like in the last 30 days, I think like, you know, I started with not too many views and then like now I've got 1,500 minutes of views, you know, like people are watching. And I never would have pumped out, you know, 30 videos in 3 months without paying for studio time, paying for the editor guy. Like,
what's the, if you don't mind me asking, the cost?
I've got
Investment?
him on hourly. He's like doing some other, he's like kind of like in my team, if you will. He's like a college student interested in real estate, getting his license. He's just kind of like assistant slash, hey, I need video help, and he has some skills, so I'm just paying him at like $25 an hour to work on it. And it's not all curated. Like I haven't yet sat down to be like, hey, we probably should word this video title this way. Let's like pick our target audience. Like at this phase, I'm just pumping content. Like, so not overthinking it. I think Stacy, you said at the beginning of the call, just like, if you're not yet in a phase of pumping out some content, like get through that 3 months, because it's like a 90-day, just get in the habit of being in front of the camera, posting, like, so at least he's got me through phase one, which is just get used to, we have a standing date to shoot video. Now phase two is like just what we're talking here. Okay, how do we target this a little better? How do we find the target audience? How do we work on cadence? But yeah, if you're busy selling homes and raising family and like doing all the other stuff, like, I don't know, if you have a little bit of green light budget, that's how I forced myself to do it faster.
Mhm.
Cece, you have a great videographer in Orlando named Emilio that I will send to you. That's fabulous.
Okay, thank
Are
you.
you in the luxury division, Cece?
No.
Okay. The reason I was asking that we have a vendor called Blended Sense that you buy credits with Blended Sense. They're available to EXP agents too. There's just a higher discount for luxury agents in the division where you buy certain credits with them. They organize the videographer and they'll do the editing and they keep like all your brand assets and everything together. It's probably gonna be more expensive than what Chris is doing, but it makes it kind of easy. But you can hire Emilio separate too. So I'll get his info to you. He's great and just a really awesome person too.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know if this is duplicatable, you guys, but I have stumbled into, I mean, I'm in a college town. I've always got part-time student or two every year, just hey, running signs, help me out here, help me out there. And they're usually like kids that are interested in real estate, you know. And a few of them have video skills. They have social media skill, like they live on social. So like it might not be perfect, but it's cheaper, you know, and you're like, hey, you can kind of intern, make some hourly money, show you some ropes in real estate. You just help me on the social and video front. That's kind of how I found this guy. So kick it around.
And even if they shoot for you and then use something like Opus, Clip, or whatever that will then cut it up for you, and they can manage that process, you know, it's
Opus?
pretty easy. Opus Clip. Yep.
OPUS?
Yep. Exactly. And then a lady that gives a lot of tips on how to shoot interesting reels. She used to be she was on the news and then now teaches people like how to be on video and stuff like that. Her name is This is Virginia Kerr, Kerr. And she has like her office is in her laundry room. So that's probably why I like her, because my office used to be in my laundry room. But she does such a good job just showing like how she makes it interesting. And she has this tiny little what do you call it? Tripod from Amazon. And she'll set it up and she'll just push, video, and then she'll show herself walking up the stairs and she'll kind of cut the video just in CapCut. She's not super techy. And she just does a great job showing you how to keep things interesting. Or she'll be like, okay, I'm sitting at my son's football practice. I do not want to shoot a video. Here's how I did it, you know? And so I just think she's such a really good one to show like, hey, you don't have to have the perfect house, the perfect setting, the perfect, whatever. And she'll do some character reels too, which she does. She kind of is funny about them. So I like them, but yeah. So This is Virginia Kerr is a really good one to follow too on that kind of thing. Like, how do you just basically create videos of yourself? How do you, get it done in a day? How do you do things? So she's a good one too. All right, I will send out an email to all of us, and then if there are people that didn't make it that you knew were coming or wanted to, we're going to go to twice a month. So I'll get that set up. Does this time work okay? Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. I'll send out the invite so it's just in our calendars. And then yep, no problem. Bye, Cece. And then we'll meet up in a couple weeks. And our homework is to then look at other people's social, and we're gonna do an audit of each other and just offer helpful suggestions. So all right, guys, I'm excited about this group. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you guys.
Thanks.
Bye.